In this video, we're going to talk about props. There's probably three main props that are used in most studios. They are blocks, blankets, and straps. So let's talk about them quick, because while a lot of studios carry them, a lot of people don't use them. And I think a majority of the reason is they're not really sure how. So we're just going to talk about the applications, the functions of each one of these, and how they could really enhance your practice. So let's start with blocks. Blocks come in a variety of different sizes and shapes. Some are shaped more like an oval, some of them are made out of wood, some of them are made out of cork, like these are here, some of them out of a softer foam. They have three different heights essentially. You've got your low, your medium, and your high. And each one of those can be used at different points and different places in your practice. So let's check out the application of blocks in a number of different postures and how they might help. So here we're in a supine hero position, and we're using a block behind the head for support. There's also a block between the shoulder blades, which is difficult to see here, to help you support in this pose. We've got a downward facing dog. The blocks are located underneath the feet to help lift up, and it takes some of the stretch off of the hamstrings, makes it a little bit easier to work with the hip flexion and the spine. The inverse, we've got it on the hands. Again, this works or helps out with people who have tight hamstrings to help them get proper alignment throughout the upper body and all the way through the pose. In a Shavasana position, we've got the block placed underneath the bolster just to provide a little bit more comfortability and ease in this pose. Here in Supta Baddha Konasana, we place the blocks underneath the knees. This can help if anybody has tension in the hips and makes the pose a little bit more comfortable. We're using the block here for Hanumanasana. We've got it placed underneath the front hamstring, the left side, and that's going to give some support as you start to work deeper into your full splits. With our supine twist, we want to have the shoulders down on the ground. If the knee happens to be floating out in space, sometimes it's helpful to place a block underneath it for support. In Ardha Chandrasana, or balancing half moon, as shown in the video, we've got it here for support with the balance. This will open up the pose to better alignment. And in our Vriksasana, or standing tree pose, if somebody has difficulty balancing, it may be helpful to place the block underneath their foot. With our Prasarita Padottanasana, we've got the blocks used underneath each hand, again for stability and support. And once you have that position, you can work with the leg alignment. In our intense side angle stretch or pyramid pose, we use the block underneath the hands, giving some support so we can work better with hip alignment, opening up the hamstrings. And in our chair pose, as you'll see here, we've got the block between the legs. This will help with proper knee positioning, make sure the knees stay in line with the second toe. You can adjust the block to different widths there. Extended side angle, we're using the block underneath the hand. That's going to give a little bit more support as well, so we can get a good straight line from the fingertips to the heel. And in our upward facing dog, this will allow the shoulder blades to come on the back and make it a little bit easier to get into this position properly, opening through the front plane. A block is usually used, I like to say, a block is used to bring the ground up or to help bring a limb down to a place where it otherwise wouldn't be in contact with the ground. So let's just look at one pose as to how that might work. So I'm going to come up into a standing triangle pose, and we'll look at how we might use the block in this application. So Trikonasana, triangle, the block can come to the inside edge of the foot. Now let's say it wasn't there, and I have hamstring that just isn't quite the flexibility level to allow my fingertips to come down comfortably to the mat. Without the block, the hand is floating here out in space. The opposite hand is up as I attempt to stack my hips, stack my shoulders, and reach up away from fingertip to fingertip, just kind of opening across the front plane of the body. With the block, I can put my hand, by bringing the surface of the ground up, in contact with the block, and that gives me some leverage to help press my hand down into the ground or into the block, which is then pressing into the ground. This is going to take some of the pressure off of the leg and allow me to get into better alignment in that position. Another way that we might use blocks, let's look at a balancing pose, like Warrior 3. When Warrior 3, we'll use 2 for this example. In Warrior 3, you're going to have one leg is going to be lifted, the opposite leg is going to be our standing leg. So let's say our left leg is our standing, well, we'll switch it. Let's say our right leg is our standing leg, and we start to bring the left leg straight back. We'll start with the hands at heart center. Now for some people, this can be very challenging for their balance. So to help with that, we'll bring the surface of the ground up using the blocks. We can place fingertips or palms on the block to help stabilize the position. Now once we're stable, we can focus a little bit more on the alignment of the pose. If I don't have the blocks and I can't find my balance, I spend the whole pose just trying to stand on one leg versus getting into more of the subtleties of the position of the hamstring stretch, the back leg, the length of the spine, the way my breath is moving, so on and so forth. So blocks are a really great tool for us to anchor down points that would otherwise be floating.